interesting about the economy as the extra $600 unemployment benefits set to expire this week for millions of Americans.
We're looking at a very powerful year next year economically. The job numbers are looking outstanding, to put it mildly, set records. The numbers on retail sales came in 2 weeks ago at the highest number in the history of our country. So we look like we're heading to some very, very good economic time.
So let's talk about this. Paul Krugman is a columnist for the New York Times. He joins me now. He's also the author of Arguing with Zombies, Economics, Politics, and the Fight for a Better Future. Paul, good to have you on. Thank you so much. It kind of escaped you that the president went out to the briefing today thinking that he was going to be able to tout a belated plan to have Kodak manufacture supplies to fight the pandemic and create a few hundred new jobs. And he ended up whining that no one likes him and promoting beyond dubious medical perspectives.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what he knows, but I suspect even his economic advisors are aware that all of those economic numbers he's citing are, they're well in the past now. The job numbers we have are actually well over a month out of date, and every indicator we have says that the recovery has stalled. Mm-hmm. Basically the best we got was early July, and then the explosion of pandemic, the explosion of new cases, the sharp rise in deaths has also brought the economy to a sharp halt.
Yeah, let's dig in a little bit more, because second quarter GDP is expected to be the worst quarter on record. Yeah. Last week, unemployment benefits rose again for the first time in 4 months. Is the president's rosy economic outlook, is it at this point just magical thinking?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe wishful thinking is a better, but go on. Sorry to interrupt.
Wishful. I mean, but the delusions are easier in a way because we live in COVID time. Things change very fast. So we had the most horrific downturn in the history of the United States early this year. Then we had 2 months in which we bounced back about a third of the way. And those are the numbers, the official numbers. But turns out that a job number for June is actually a job number for the second week of June. And everything since mid-June has been pretty bad. And so he's living, I really have no idea whether anyone around him is telling him that, the next job number is not going to be good. And in fact, states are hurting. And of course, the states that opened up fastest and where deaths from COVID-19 are exploding are the ones where the economy is going backwards.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you said that, because there's no consistency, right? Because he'll tout like, this is great in this state, that's great in that state, and then when the number of cases become bad, then he doesn't want to take responsibility for it. He is still pressuring governors to reopen states against the advice of his own medical advisors, and even though opening early has led to disaster in our biggest states, right? In California and Texas and Florida. What's the long-term damage to the economy if that happens again, Paul? Sorry to cut you off. We have a delay, but go on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that for a while we've said, how do we turn this extremely severe recession into a depression, into something where we have double-digit unemployment for a very long period of time? And the answer is to do exactly what we did, which is to reopen recklessly before we've got the thing under control, to reject mask wearing, all of the precautionary things, so that it doesn't even matter at a certain point what the policy is. If you say to people, it's okay, go back to work, but in fact, everybody knows there's a plague out there, people will not go out shopping. They will not they will not engage in business as usual. And that's basically where we've gotten to. We squandered the chance to actually bring this thing under control. And now, one way or another, the economy is going to lock down again. It's either going to lock down because governors and hopefully the president finally says, okay, we screwed it up, we need to do it over again, or just because people are too afraid.
As you know, Congress is scrambling right now to come up with another economic response to this virus. The $600 weekly boost to unemployment benefits about to expire for millions of Americans. Republicans want to cut that to $200. Will that hurt the recovery even further? What will that do?
Sure. I mean, one of the things that we managed to avoid so far is a sort of second round of recession. So you have 20 million people put out of work because they had to be put out of work because of the virus. But then what happens if all those people are not earning wages? They have to cut spending, and they could have millions more jobs lost because they can't spend. So we have a sort of a standard conventional recession on top of the pandemic recession. We avoided that largely thanks to those unemployment benefits, because House Democrats rammed through this extra unemployment benefit. We sustained people's incomes, and we sort of sterilized, I guess the appropriate word, sterilized the effect of the pandemic on the broader economy. But now that has expired. I mean, basically, the last checks to almost everybody went out last weekend. And Republicans are now talking about reducing that to a tiny sum compared with what we were getting before, which means that you're sucking basically, 3% of GDP. Is the number, which is bigger by far than the Obama stimulus ever was as a share of the economy. We're just sucking that much purchasing power out by cutting off these unemployment checks, and nothing takes its place. And we've already missed, the window. This was the most predictable thing. We've been warning for 2 months. Hey, this thing is about to expire, and we're not ready for it to expire. But Republicans did nothing. They did nothing, and then when the deadline hit, they came up with a proposal which is completely inadequate to the needs of the nation.